Good morning, everybody. Our praise song today is You Are Holy, number 82 from the Sing Book. You can find the book under your seats. There are rhythm instruments in the back corner there. Anytime you want to get up and get one of those or two of them, you're welcome to do that. Finger labyrinths as well are back there. Let's stand as we are able in body or in heart and sing together. Beautiful singing, everybody. So we have a few announcements. Today in the United Church of Christ, it is Access Sunday and Disability Awareness Week. We're actually going to be celebrating disability awareness for the rest of the month. So we're really excited about that. Today's bulletin is on the website and on your app if you want to follow along there. We've got Fall Festival and Pumpkin Patch coming up. So right over here are some sign-ups. There are a lot of blank lines, and we would like to know where you would like to sign up. Because everybody's participation is going to make this pumpkin patch, and also up here is the Woodlands Pride Festival, which is October 22nd. That's a big deal. So please, get involved, sign up. Let's make it kind of a family thing that we're doing together. And for those of you who are watching online, whether it's because you just couldn't make it today or because you just don't tend to come on Sunday morning because Sunday morning's so good to sleep in, you're not listening to that. Anybody in the room? It's bad to sleep in, but it's good for you to sleep in. I'm so happy for you. Anyway, if you want to sign up, it's on the app. So please sign up there, and we're constantly making sure that they agree with one another. These are great events, and we're excited about them. November 13th, we're having our church safety training program. It's gotten moved over to November 13th after the service. Sergeant McGowan, Detective Angel are going to be leading us in that. We're going to be taking an offering for them because they are not saying, well, we're going to charge you X, so let's bundle our money together, give them some money for doing this for us, for helping to make us safe. Also, previews of coming attraction, we're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner. And at the Thanksgiving dinner, we're going to start collecting for, and I can't remember what it is for. I don't remember the name of it. Yeah, but Desiree and I are working on it, and it's for college, it's hygiene kits. For colleges. Anyway, yes, reproductive health and stuff like that. So more about that, but just wanted to prick your ear that if you want a Thanksgiving dinner, potluck, and it's going to be a good time. So before we start the centering moment, because it's Access Sunday, I wanted to kind of set something up. When I was thinking about the centering moment, I try to figure out what direction I want to go in. And Access Sunday, I thought, well, how do I want to weave that in? And I started to remember when I was in my 20s, I worked for the YMCA, and I did children's programming. I taught tumbling to 2-year-olds, and then 3 4-year-olds, and 5 6-year-olds. And it was like the best job in the world to teach tumbling to these little toddlers. I was having the best time. But what I would do, I wasn't a pastor yet, but you could see it coming. I would gather them all in a circle first so we could talk. So we'd have a little moment, right, together and get centered, because that was important to me. Well, part of the centering moment of one of my 3 4-year-old classes was boo-boo time. This did not come from me. I was just kind of getting all the kids around me and saying, this is what we're going to do today, so let's focus, and is there anything you want to share? And one little kid said, I got a boo-boo. And I was like, oh, you do have a boo-boo. Oh, look at that. Yep, so we talked about her boo-boo. And then somebody else went, I have a boo-boo. And next thing you know, people are going, I have a boo-boo. So then every morning after that, in these classes, we would have boo-boo time. And it wasn't like, oh, feel sorry for me because I got hurt. It was kind of celebrating, I did something this week, and it was risky. And I got a boo-boo from it. It was a celebration of life. And it was also a time and a space that the little kids were like, this is a safe place to talk about what I did this week. And so as we begin our service today, and we know that it's Access Sunday, disabilities are way more than boo-boos. We know that, right? But to begin to share the smallest things like this, and to say this is a safe space where I can bring my risk-taking and my vulnerabilities, that's a really powerful thing. And that's what we do here at Plymouth, and that's kind of one of the things I want this moment to be about. So let's bring ourselves fully to this time and to this place, welcoming ourselves and each other, all of our boo-boos, and all of our wellness. Taking a deep breath. And know that whatever you come into this room with is who you are. What are you identifying in yourself? What are you identifying in yourself that is something that you feel like you want changed? What are you identifying in yourself that it seems like other people want you to change? Let's start with our bodies. Is there something that you feel like you need special space for in the world because of the way your body is, how it moves through the world, or the way that it responds to different things? Let's make a space for that here this morning. Let's make room in ourselves to allow ourselves to be, simply to be, and room for each other. Intellectually, sometimes we wonder if maybe we should think in a certain direction, think about certain things, wonder in certain ways. And sometimes we think, why doesn't my brain do the things that I want it to do? What access do you need to think with? Intellectually, what space do you need to create, or do we need to create, or do we need to allow here this Sunday morning so that you can embrace the holiness and sacrality of your thoughts, or the holiness and sacrality of the bumps in your thoughts? Emotionally, we need access. We need space. Most of us can pretty well emotionally say, okay, I can do this for this amount of time. I can be strong. I can put on this face. I can control these emotions. And then we say, but later on, all bets are off. Embrace all of those emotions, knowing that, yes, indeed, we do have the right to control ourselves. We also have the right to say, I need extra space right now for this emotional aspect of my being. Know that that is sacred and holy work. As you give yourself space physically and mentally and emotionally, we give ourselves space spiritually. In the UCC, we say no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you're welcome here. How you name the divine is up to you. How you pray or meditate or get in touch with, connect with the one who is the Creator, the divine beloved God. How you follow the path of Jesus is up to you. And the benefit is we get to all do it together. So that means we have to make room for each other's ways of understanding God. So we breathe into all of that difference, knowing that it makes us a better community all the way around. Let's love ourselves and make space for ourselves and for each other as we co-create this sacred moment, bringing ourselves fully to this time and to this place.
Please join me in our call to worship. God of grace, we come before you with our whole selves. Gather ourselves as a community of faith, hope, and love. Show us your kingdom of kindness. Teach us to love our enemies as well as our friends. Come to us as we come to you. In your grace we pray, praise, and rest.
Rhythm of this with me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let's sing together, Breathe on Me, Breath of God, verses 1-3, and it's number 292 from the New Century Hymnal, which you can find under your seat. Please stand as you are able in body or heart.
Breathe on me, breath of God. Fill me with life anew, that I may love the way you love and do what you would do. Oh God, until my heart is pure, until with you I will, one will, do and do. Breathe on me, breath of God, stir in me one desire, that every earthly part of me may glow with holy fire.
You may be seated. Our biblical witness this morning comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 4, 23 23 through chapter 5, verse 7. Jesus went throughout Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and curing every disease and every sickness among the people. So his fame spread throughout all Syria. And they brought to him all the sick, those who were afflicted with various diseases and pains, demoniacs, epileptics, paralytics, and he cured them. And great crowds followed him from Galilee, from the Decapolis, from Jerusalem, from Judea, and from beyond Judea, from beyond the Jordan. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak, and he taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy."
Our contemporary witness today is How to Have an Enemy, page 201 by Melissa Florer Bixler. The Bible is a powerful weapon in the hands of oppressors. It always has been. But Matthew writes these words for the poor, for the ones you have been told, "There's no place for you here." Jesus sits beside them and says, "You are in the good life, in the perfect place, the good life for you and the good life for others. And when these people find one another, when they are united in love, Jesus' love begins to unfold all around us. You are in the good life. Blessed are you."
On my way in this morning, I was listening to the video. I wasn't watching the video. I was just listening to it. When I got here, I shared it on the various pages. And it's a panel of theologians from the UCC Disabilities Network. And one of the things that they were talking about is institutional exclusion of people with disabilities. It's not just that that places and spaces and people forget to include people with disabilities. There have been historically intentional things put in the way for people to be able to participate or to come in at all. They even talked about the ugly laws of years past, which I think they're all demolished now, but I'm not sure, which said that if you were disfigured in any way, you weren't allowed to go to the movie theater because it might cause people upset. And before I go to what I actually wrote, I started thinking about this in reference to the reading. And there's a sense of that in the healing kinds of teachings. Where and I get into this a little bit later in what I wrote, but I just wanted to lift it up all the more, that sometimes these healing teachings are used to say, if you don't get healed, you don't have enough faith, or you're not in the right church, or you're not doing something God-word right. And so it can be used, as Reverend Melissa says, as oppression. There's something wrong with you that Jesus needs to deal with if you have something wrong with you, if you're sick or disabled or something like that. So that's the foundation from which I was thinking about this when I was writing. And when it got spoken of in that video, I thought this is just too powerful not to lift up, and also to encourage you to at least listen to it and watch it. I know 2 out of the 3 people on that panel, and I respect them. And one of them on the panel is the one that has written our Unison Prayer and our and something else. So anyway, back to what I've written. Our reading from the Gospel of Matthew is often separated into two different stories. You might have recognized that. In the first one, Jesus heals everyone that comes to him. While he does, more and more people come to him to be healed, and a crowd gathers. Those who follow him are from cities nearby and then farther away still. His work is bringing him fame and celebrity. How many days does it take him of healing and tending to the broken before this mass of people accumulates? While this idea of Jesus healing is an attractive one, and the stories continue after this telling, during the event, as he sees the crowd gather, did you notice that he stops? He stops healing. Generally, the first part of this telling ends before Jesus even notices the crowd. The message then will be about how Jesus knows our needs, cares about us, and wants us to be healed and whole. And there is truth to that. But it isn't the only truth. The second part of this telling begins with Jesus seeing the crowd climbing up the mountain far enough so that he can sit down, teach them, preach to them. They can all see him and hear him from where he is. He begins with what we call the Beatitudes. He pronounces that those gathered are blessed. He goes on for quite some time, actually, about who's blessed and how they're blessed. The poor, the grief-stricken, the hungry, the meek, the merciful. Everyone who is bucking the system. Everyone who is being downtrodden by the system. They are blessed. This is good stuff. And guides us all these generations later on about what it means to be a follower of Jesus. Today, though, I want to talk about that transition between these two tellings, between these two events that aren't two events, that are one event. Great crowds begin to gather, folks following him from all over the place. Jesus has been tending to everyone who comes to him, turning no one away. Word gets out, and he looks up, and he sees the never-ending stream of people wanting him to fix their lives, to fix their hurts and their brokenness. His compassion has led him to do all of this, but at this point, I think he has an epiphany. I think he thinks to himself, I'm giving the wrong signal here. He said yes to heal. He said yes to release. He said yes to empower, but not necessarily only on this micro level. He's getting wrapped up in this moment, and he thinks there's a larger message here of freedom and healing, and he stops. The people, as they are blessed. Are they hurting? Are they broken? Are they hungry? Are they abused? Yes, all of that and more. But whoever they are and whatever condition they're in does not indicate their blessedness. His healing them doesn't make them more blessed. His curing conditions doesn't bring on the blessing of God. They are already blessed. And they've been lied to about who they are and the condition they're in. They've been told they're outcasts, most of them, that they're unclean, impure, not good enough, cursed by God. Jesus tells them that's not true. They don't need him or his healing to be blessed. He isn't blessing them by healing them. He isn't bestowing on them this blessing as he's talking about it. He's telling them they are inherently blessed. Blessed are you. Not blessed you will be. Not don't you feel better now I blessed you. Blessed are you. The first part of the story where Jesus heals everybody, in some Christian circles, it gives many the impression that if they or someone else have something wrong with them and they don't get healed, that means something negative about their faith. And that doesn't hold water, though, because Jesus didn't pick and choose who got his attention, and he didn't ask them anything about what they believed, how they practiced their faith, or any other such nonsense. The story is symbolic and not literal. It's meant to lead to the moment of the crowd's gathering. There are other places in the Gospels where Jesus points out that crowds gather around him not because they like him, not because they believe in him, not because they want to follow him. They gather, he says, they came for the bread. They came for the healing. They came because I could give them something. For those people, it's about what they can get. Jesus often challenges his disciples, asking them, why are you following me? Who do you say that I am? What are you here for? Is it for what they perceive he can give them? Is it because they found someone true and good and want to follow the path of goodness and truth? Is it to receive from him? Or is it to learn how to give? The healing story seems to me to be a setup for the preaching moment where he teaches everyone about their inherent blessedness. While this is true for everyone, who needs to hear it the most? Those who already believe they are blessed because they have enough, are healthy, have few worries? Or those who are making their last-ditch effort at wholeness by leaving behind their jobs and their families to get to a person who seems to have the magical ability to fix their brokenness, cure their diseases, and generally put them on a path towards stability? The people in the crowd who came from far away and farther away went to extreme lengths to get to Jesus because they heard he can help them. They heard that he gave his time and energy to anyone who asked. When Jesus stopped healing to teach them, I wonder how many of them were kind of bummed. Well, I was next in line. I was just about to get there. Doggone it, why did he stop? Maybe he'll start up again. I wonder what's going on. But others, I bet as they listened to him, they heard his deeper meaning, and they received a deeper healing, one that they could build on over the course of their lives, one that they could offer to others. So what does this have to do with the topic of accessibility to all? Our month's theme of disability awareness and our goal to become an officially UCC designated accessible to all congregation. So I don't have the gift of healing physical bodies. Like you all, I've prayed for loved ones with various diseases and maladies, and they were not cured. I was disappointed because at the time, I thought that the role of faith was at least partially to produce miracles, to show the power of God and the love of Jesus for the world. The story we heard today reminds us that there are times of healing, physical, spiritual, emotional, mental healing. But faith isn't a gumball machine. Faith is what inspires us to be the love of Jesus for the world and to believe that the power of holy love is greater than any other force. This is the force which blesses us. Melissa Flora-Bixler says, Matthew writes these words for the poor, for the ones who have been told, there's no place for you here. Jesus sits beside them and says, you're in the good life. When I read those words of hers, I thought to myself, and Plymouth says, there is place for you here. It's not perfect, and we need your feedback. We've still got work to do. We've been working at it for a while, an ever-evolving, accessible to all plan, because there are many different ways of needing accessibility. Some disabilities are visible, some are invisible. We're always wanting to know what people need to be able to participate fully in the life of this community. We will always be learning how to be better at our facilities and our activities to be as accessible as possible. The reason that we do this is because we believe what Jesus said about who's blessed. creating accessibility is a way for us to center people who are marginalized for reasons of their disability. The goal is for disability to be normative and seamless. Just like Jesus celebrated everyone who gathered around him by reminding them that they're blessed just as they are, we celebrate all who gather here by learning how to create space and ways for engagement and full participation. I remember many, many years ago, as a younger activist, a leader in the LGBTQ plus movement was preaching. And she was going on about belonging in the church. And she said, churches shouldn't make space for us to do us any favors. They should make space for us because we're awesome. Why wouldn't they make space for us? Why would they want to lose out on some of this? The same thing is true for accessibility. Why wouldn't we want to be as accessible as possible as we can figure it out? Because I don't want to lose out on awesomeness. I don't want to lose out on all those people who are blessed, that have something that we probably need, not because of their disability, although that will inform, just like my queerness informs who I am, but just because they're different individuals that we would maybe otherwise not get a chance to be in relationship with. One of the things in this video that if you watch it, you'll hear, is they were talking about choosing which scripture they wanted to focus on. And they chose one from Jeremiah, and it had nothing to do with healing. And they said, we get asked all the time to preach about these healing passages. And that's fine, but it's boring. After a while, it's just like, okay, we have to talk about that again? They said there's so much more to our lives than these healing passages. And you can look at the Bible through a lens of disability everywhere. Well, that was provoking and true. So we want all the blessedness that we can get, all the awesomeness that we can get. Learning how to be accessible to all is a gift we actually give ourselves. It's a way of life to be able to celebrate all who enter our community. As one of the older slogans of the UCC Disability Ministry puts it, anybody, everybody, Christ's body. And with that, my friends, peace. Let's bring our hearts together in prayer. I want to invite you to bring to mind any that you have on your heart. And as we raise those people or situations to our consciousness, to gently hold them in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit. There are lots of people healing in different ways or going through recovery from surgeries and other sicknesses. People are in the midst of grief and other troubles, financial troubles, that might be weaving into all of our minds right now. Holy Love, we thank you for all the care and the concern that's in this room. We thank you for the tugs of love that pull on our souls, for the names and the faces and the situations that are hovering in this room, and we offer them as request for intercession, for your getting involved, shifting situations, making things better. We do request that. We also request that you would lift up our own wisdom to know if there's any way that we can help to make it better. We send out your Spirit as a balm, gathering together all of these concerns and these cares, holding them up to your light and your goodness, knowing that all these peoples and situations are already blessed and desiring a further blessing for whatever is needed, because we don't always know what the actual need is. Sometimes we barely know the need itself. So, in your goodness and in your mercy, in your grace, may there be a spiritual sending out of comfort and strength and healing and hope and awareness and wisdom. And hopefully, all these folks will have a shiver down their spine saying, I don't know what good thing just happened, but I've been touched by something wonderful. May it be so according to your will and your grace. And because we send out these prayers as a community and we do this work as the body of Christ, let us lift up our voices in these words of prayer, saying, God, I will live in this body built by your hands, by acts of the world, planned and unplanned, by my own choices. This body was born with abilities and disabilities. It grew and changed through accident, illness, medical procedure, the passage of time, and more actions and events than we can name. I have made my body my own through prosthetics, assisted tech, tattoos and piercings, medications, intentional movement, meditation, and all the choices one can make about a body. This body is mine, co-created with you, O God. I bless it as it blessed by you. I bless it in comfort and in pain, in clarity and in brain fog, in ease of movement and in struggle, in the good days and the bad. I bless this body, even when I do not love what it does. I bless this body because it is the only body I have, and I will live in it, for we are one. Amen.
Each week, we collect 2 offerings. One is for the church, which goes into our general fund for the running of the church and our ministries. The second is the loose offering, which is sent to a designated charity, which changes each week. If you brought your offering in person today, you are welcome to drop it in the offering box in the back. It's the glass church near the doors to the narthex. Our loose offering for today will go to United Church of Christ Disabilities Ministries, which envisions a world in which all people are included in the fullness of life because they are created in the image of God. The mission of UCCDM is to support all settings of the United Church of Christ, including, but not limited to, local congregations, associations, conferences, camps, historically underrepresented groups, and national settings as they seek to recognize and provide access to people with disabilities in all aspects of the church's life and ministry. If you would like to give to our general fund, to the loose offering, or to both, you can use bill pay from your bank, send us a check, use the Plymouth app, or use push pay according to the directions on your screen. And as always, thank you for supporting Plymouth and the ministries of the loose offering. Please join me in our responsive offertory prayer written by Reverend Dr. Derek Browning. Generous God, here are our gifts of time.
Here are our gifts of talents.
Here are our gifts of money.
Building stones for your kingdom.
Awaiting, shaping, and placing.
Within your loving purpose. Amen.
Let's sing together the summons, which is number 2130 from the songbook, The Faith We Sing. We don't have the book for everyone, but we did print a handout if you'd all like to read music as you sing.
Will you come and follow me if I but call your name? Will you go where you don't know and never be the same? Will you let my love be shown? Will you let my name be known? Will you let my life be grown in you and you in me? Will you leave yourself behind if I but call your name? Will you care for cruel and kind and never be the same? Will you risk the hostile stare? Should your life attract or scare? Will you let me let the blinded see if I but call your name? Will you set the prisoners free and never be the same? Will you kiss the leper clean and do such as this unseen and admit to what I mean in you and you and me? Will you love the you hide if I but call your name? Will you quell the fear inside and never be the same? Will you use the faith you found to reshape the world around through my sight and touch and sound in you and you in me? Lord, your summons echoes true when you but call my name. Let me turn and follow you and never be the same. In your company I'll go where your love and footsteps show. Thus I'll move and live and grow in you and you in me.
Our benediction is written by Becca Anderson, just like our Unison Prayer was, and it's a collaborative benediction. So Paula and I invite you to read the all part when it's your turn. As we leave this place, let us celebrate the work we have done, the ramps that connect us, the elevators that uplift us, the conversations that help us know more deeply how God is present with us, reflected in a diversity of body minds. God, draw us closer to access and love.
And we realize that there is always more to be done. Our physical access has not accounted for everybody. Our communication access has not accounted for every mind. Our attitudes and theologies remain shaped by a culture that does not love disabled body minds, and untangling those beliefs is the work of a lifetime.
God, draw us closer to access and love. We are not perfect, but we are not called to be perfect. We are called to love our neighbor and to recognize when our attempts of love have gone astray. We are called to live deeply, fully, grounded in our body mind and reaching out to the unique body minds of those who share this life with us. God, draw us closer to access and love.
Let us rejoice in the continued work of access. Let us rejoice that there are more ways than we know to love one another. Let us be bold, creative, thoughtful, empathetic, and faithful. Let us rejoice knowing there is yet more wisdom to learn on this journey of access.
God, draw us closer to access and love. Amen, and go in peace. Go in peacemakers.
Wherever you go, God is with you. Wherever you go, God is there.